Good evening. Thank you, Emily. That was incredible. It was an incredible experience and fun and opportunity. Thank you for leading us through that. And thank you all for participating and throwing your support behind SEO and our talented scholars. My name is James Gutierrez, and I'm a proud member of the SEO Scholars San Francisco Advisory Board. I'm also a 1997 alum of the SEO Career Program. I grew up as a brown kid, Mexican immigrant household outside of LA. My parents worked tirelessly to ensure that I could achieve my dreams of one day becoming an entrepreneur here in Silicon Valley. I've dedicated my career to economic justice and to elevating the voice and economic power of the Latino community for the benefit of our society. I know firsthand the power of SEO and the impact that we're having on young people's lives. When I was one of the few brown faces in college, SEO was my family. SEO gave me confidence, and without a doubt, SEO changed the trajectory of my career. Tonight, I have the pleasure of introducing and speaking with and presenting our Corporate Leadership Award to a dear friend, Ken Lin, who also comes from an immigrant family. He himself came here as a young boy from China all the way to Las Vegas, and we'll hear more about that tonight. Ken and I met about 7-8 years ago at an industry event, and we immediately connected over our shared experiences growing up and our passion for helping people harness the value of their credit scores. I have learned so much from Ken over the years that has helped me become a leader who cares about impact, a better person, a philanthropist, and I'm so proud of everything I've learned from Ken. So without a doubt, without any further ado, please join me in welcoming Ken. Ken, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me here today.
So Ken, you launched Credit Karma in 2007 with the idea that credit scores should be free and accessible to all, and that everyone deserves to feel confident about their finances. We talked a little bit about your personal story yesterday growing up. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what experiences led you to founding a mission-driven company?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you mentioned, I came to the States when I was 4 years old. My parents immigrated from China, very much in pursuit of the American dream. And, I certainly remember growing up and how challenging that was for my parents. And I remember my parents being on food stamps at one point. I remember, probably at the age of 7 being a translator in a bank, trying to explain to them how the banking system worked and how they could, benefit from being a bank and all the things that you learn from school. And I certainly think that those experiences have had a profound impact on both the way that I live my life, but maybe more relevant here is how I thought about Credit Karma, which
Ken, yesterday we talked a little bit about your growing up and some of those experiences that really shaped you. Would you mind telling us a little bit about those and how you got here and a little bit about your family? We have a lot of scholars who go through that same experience, and I think it would be great to hear a little bit more about yours.
I think when you shared with me a little bit about SEO and some of the people who go through the program, I couldn't help but make some of the parallels, to my own life. And I talked a little bit about growing up on food stamps, but I also lived in I think a tough area. I'll note that on the first day of high school, there was a shooting in the cafeteria in the morning. We were in homeroom for probably 3 or 4 hours, and I think I kept going through my head. It was like normal for high school. And what happened in the cafeteria that morning was there was a shooting, and ultimately someone was shot and died, unfortunately. And they kept us in homeroom for that period of time. And all to say, I guess I've seen a lot, right? I've gone through, I think, some of the challenging pieces of being in a tough neighborhood, seeing violence up front, but at the same time, with all of you, and incredibly fortunate to been able to pursue my dreams. But maybe all to say that no matter what challenges you face, there's always an opportunity to do more, to do better, and I'm living proof of that, and something that I'm I'm proud of, but more importantly, hoping something that I can help other people see and help guide in terms of making an impact and making a difference.
Thanks a lot, Ken. Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about your leadership and what some of these values and these personal experiences growing up, how they impacted your leadership, and how you decided to build a culture and grow Credit Karma? How did that help shape Credit Karma?
Well, all of those life experiences, and maybe this is some of the things that some of your scholars are living through today, but growing up the way that I grew up, one is I would note that, there weren't a lot of Asians in terms of being a role model. So that was certainly something that I think about every day, and how do I do that, and how do I, if nothing else, show other kids that there, are a lot of paths out there, and hopefully they can be successful in any of the ones that they pursue. I would also note that I spent a lot of time having not a lot of role models, understanding whether it was being Asian, being from an underserved community. What is a CEO? What is that? What are those attributes? And over the last 10 years or so, I've really learned something, which is I thought it was being tough or reading the stereotypical being a leader. Those 10 years, I've realized it's actually just being yourself, and that's what I try to bring every day from a leadership perspective, which is my own personality, and not what I read or what I think a CEO should be, but really what is true to me, the way that I like to operate, which is really from a level of sincerity, from a level of integrity, but a level of connection. And those are all things that we think about. I think about when I operate at Credit Karma, but also when I interact with everyone. And that's our culture, and it's something that it's taken me a number of years to refine. But I think about it every day, which is what are the hard things in my life, how they help define me, and how can I help others through those experiences.
Yesterday when we spoke. And tonight, we have a presidential debate going on. 2020 has been a tumultuous year. Certainly a topic for tonight and that connects with us at SEO, and when we look at our scholars, is a topic of racial justice. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, and you told me that this is really important to you. Can you tell us all a little bit more? Why is this so important to you, and how can you help the mission around more racial equality?
Yeah. Well, I think as many of your students have experienced, and I know I've experienced, in my life, racism is out there. And, I think we have to stand up against it. We have to go and speak out and say it's not okay. And we have to do it at every level. And, whether it's my position as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, as a citizen, I think it's important to make that stand and say, I will not accept this. And, as you noted, tonight is, a presidential debate. And, one of the things when I saw George Floyd, and when I think about Breonna Taylor, and when I think about what is happening in America, I just felt like, if not me, then who, right? If not me, who runs a company, who represents 1,300 diverse people at Credit Karma, a platform that 100 million people use. If I don't stand up and say something, then who? And, as a result of all of those experiences, we've made stands. One of the things that I'm really proud of at Credit Karma is when we saw the racial, injustice, when we saw protesters being assaulted, we felt like we had to do something. And I'm proud to say that 1,300 Karmanauts, which is what we call people who work at Credit Karma, they volunteered to build our voter roadmap. And we've basically had almost 400,000 people start the voting registration process. And the note here is you have to vote. You have to say it's not okay. You have to elect the people who will pick the police commissioners. You will have to elect the people who will determine districts by which the House of Representatives is determined. And those are important things. And privilege is real, racism is real, and it doesn't go away by sticking your hand in the sand. It doesn't go away by somebody else's action. It goes away because you take a stand. And it's something that I fundamentally believe in. It's something that our company fundamentally believes in. And I hope it's something that everyone at this gala will take a moment to reflect upon and also take action against.
Thanks, Ken. I really appreciate you saying those words and sharing with them. And your leadership as an immigrant, as a Chinese immigrant entrepreneur and leader in fintech and in tech in Silicon Valley is really, you're blazing a trail for all of us and our scholars and our community. So thank you for raising that torch and leading us. Well, I could go on and on about my friend Ken. I think you can probably see why he's such a great person and so worthy of being tonight's Achievement Benefit honoree. And so with that, Ken, I'd like, congratulations. On behalf of SEO, I'm delighted to present you with our SEO Corporate Leadership Award. Can we all please join me? Let's give a virtual round of applause for Ken. Congratulations, Ken. Woo!
Well, thank you. Here is the award, so thank you. It's sitting proudly on my desk. I just want to say this award is a huge honor for me. When I met some of the kids, when I went through the experience, I couldn't help but think how similar, some of my experiences might have been with some of your scholars' experiences. And I'm just humbled by your work and the incredible commitment from both the kids and the program itself to make a difference, to help people fulfill their dreams. I feel great that our future is in good hands with the next generation of leaders. And I would, say that being a couple of steps ahead of you, being a little older here is, I'd say to the scholars here, while you're in a great program, make sure you continue to work hard, because I think that, nothing is handed to you in life, and, you're on a great trajectory, but to continue to go down that trajectory. I would also make sure to note that, follow your passions. One of the things that took me many years to figure out is do things that you love and that you're passionate about, not in the pursuit of, revenue or finances. But if you follow your passions, everything else would follow. And then lastly, I would just say to the scholars here is make sure you pay it forward, right? It's something that I think about each and every day. It's still a chapter that I'm living today, which is I've had amazing opportunities along the way, and I think it's just fundamentally important to be that role model, to speak out against injustice, and to make sure that we provide the same level of opportunity that we have had experienced ourselves. So thank you very much for this honor, and keep going, everyone.
Thanks again, Ken, and congratulations again. We're so thrilled here at SEO to honor you with our Corporate Leadership Award, and we're so thrilled to count you as a partner in our future and helping us help our scholars. Now I'd like to move on to, thank you, Ken. Now I'd like to move on to some closing remarks. I'd like to welcome a very dear person who's dear to our program and is the founder of our program and was the person who gave me a call years ago to get involved in all of us. And so I'd like to thank him for his leadership and ask him to join us now. Please join me in welcoming our advisory board chair, Adam Carr.